Well, today I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Ivan Zak. I was going to say podcast, but it's not exactly a podcast. But welcome.
Yeah, well, it's sort of like a podcast.
A lot of people know you're the chief executive officer of Galaxy Vets. Your economics, your business is very different in that, and maybe you can touch base on this a little more, is that by making employees still retain ownership, there's a huge tax advantage and a huge economic advantage by putting the employees first. And would you care to elaborate on that?
Well, that was never the goal. The advantage of providing equity to employees is in motivation of employees to feel as an owner. And it's not about the financial outcome, because when you provide someone with equity, they don't feel the impact of that until they retire, or until they cash out the results. So on a day-to-day basis, even if it's a carrot that you wave during the employment process, it doesn't motivate people on a day-to-day basis. And that's a very important thing, because a lot of companies looked at it and said, we're also going to give something, and it's a carrot, but it doesn't motivate on a day-to-day basis. It's just like a salary. You negotiate a salary for 10 grand higher than your classmate. You think that you're going to be happy with it. 3 weeks later, you don't remember about it. It's just your salary. So the main thing in the employee ownership culture is actually allowing people to make decisions. It's not about equity. It's about connecting the cause and effect. It's about when you are the owner, you can make a decision to change something. It is heard and it's implemented. And at the end of the day, it actually improves your final outcome. That is the fundamentally different philosophy that we have in the vet world right now. If you're trying to have a conversation with a technician or with the doctor for that matter, I'm sure you had it with your management, we need to bring more revenue. Why do I care? We need to order more blood work. No, we don't. Patients that are sick and need blood work, they will get blood work, and those that don't need it, not going to get blood work. And you're not convincing me to do otherwise.
Right.
And that's what we hear every day. But owning a shared goal, we want this hospital to be at that level in a year, and how do we get there together? And here's my contribution to that as a doctor. Here's my contribution as a technician. I see that I can improve check-in process as a receptionist. I see that I can waste less gauze or catheters when I'm placing the catheter doing this. And all of these ideas, when they're contributed to the overall goal of the organization, and it's a shared goal, then you have the intrinsic motivation and the buy-in from people. Not that I'm working on getting for someone, a new boat or a new Tesla for the owner of the clinic. Then I don't care.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And in terms of equity, I know it's maybe less common nowadays, but a lot of times doctors will buy into the practice as a part owner with the intention of the owner passing on their legacy to the next doctor. But I just think about what about those technicians that have worked for decades, thousands and thousands of hours? And in my experience, technicians don't get equity, which I think is not right.
Technicians, receptionists, they all build that wealth for the doctor in the future. But then when they hit 35, they are breaking their backs, their knees hurt, they can't lift those dogs anymore, so they have to retire. What can they retire into if they're 35 and all they've done been helping the vet to build their success?
Right.
So then they have to switch to a different, it's good if they switch to pharma or maybe some startups, but there's not jobs for everybody there. So they have nothing. And then they leave the profession with an extreme knowledge in what we do. And those are the people that can shift to doing telemedicine, teletriage. There's other things that they can do, or retire from vet medicine, have stake in the equity in the company and move on to their next thing. That's how we think about it.
I guess looking at the future of veterinary medicine, where do you see it going, outside of Galaxy Vets, but as a whole, what hopes or what cautions do you have about the future of this amazing field?
If the industry stops looking at finance only, you can't motivate people that like treating animals with either paying them more. It's very temporary. It's an extrinsic motivator.
Right.
If industry can focus on the measurement of success through other instruments rather than the financial, then I think that we're all going in the right direction. If we'll continue driving the P&L and hit the budget, I think that this profession is doomed to failure, dissatisfaction, losing people, and suicide rates are growing high.
Mm.
But I think that if we can build our technology, processes, mindset, and the business towards being happy while doing what you love, then I think that's where we want to be.
I love that. You take care of your people, they take care of you, and the business numbers, they'll take care of themselves.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Ivan. I really appreciate our conversation today.
Thank you. I like what you're doing. So that's a great job. Thank you.